Hi, this is Jonathan Rosenherr, the Jerusalem psychotherapist. This week's Torah and Psychology post, Parshas Vaeschanan, is going to look at how the main components of this week's parasha creates a framework that really fits in beautifully with cognitive behavior therapy. If we look at this week's parasha, we have the Aseret Dibros, and we also have Kriya Shema, and we have in terms of following that through to the end of the parasha, we've got the mitzvah of tefillin and mezuzah. Now, how can we put this together and understand it from a therapeutic perspective, from working with the model of CBT, of cognitive behavior therapy? We've discussed CBT a number of times, how it's an how these factors of one's thoughts and behaviors and feelings all interrelate with each other, and they influence and are influenced by the other components. And this model understands how a person can respond, react to, and understand different situations in a more adaptive way rather than maladaptive. If they're able to understand this connection and use these factors of thoughts, behaviors, and feelings to gain insight into one's behavior, into one's thoughts, into one's feelings. And this creates a really practical way of bringing about change. So in this week's parsha, we have the thoughts, which is the Aseret Dibros. The Aseret Dibros is being the main really guiding thoughts and values to our religious existence, to our relationship with the Kadosh Baruch Hu. If we have these values of the Aseret Dibros and we keep them in mind, and this is in a way how we try to direct our thoughts and keep the Aseret Dibros in mind and use it as a way of navigating life. If we have these thoughts in our mind, then that will, in a way, feed into, and we can understand how it interrelates with the idea of loving a Kadosh Baruch Hu. In the Kriya Shema, we have this mitzvah of V'ahavta es Hashem Elokecha b'chol levavecha v'chol nafshecha v'chol ma'adecha, which from a psychological perspective is somewhat complicated. How you can have a mitzvah to love HaKadosh Baruch Hu, a mitzvah to have a feeling, of an emotion, you could say is not something that you can command. But if we understand from the CBT perspective, then if you have these thoughts of Aseret Dibros, and you have this thoughts that are being directed always towards HaKadosh Baruch Hu and towards Torah and mitzvahs, then you will have a feeling which naturally comes about, which is a mitzvah. You could say that you can command, because you will obviously feel this emotion of love for HaKadosh Baruch Hu through this repetition as well. This repetition of saying Kriya Shema every single day, and the thoughts of Aseret Dibros, we start to understand how this can go together, and naturally there will be an emotion of love for HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and this actually moves into the behaviors as well. Kriya Shema, which is we have the mitzvah of wearing tefillin every single day, the parshas of Kriya Shema, and we have also the action of mezuzah, which of kissing the mezuzah every time we go into our house, we go into different rooms, we are recognizing and appreciating and acknowledging the presence of a Kadosh Baruch Hu in our life, the protection that Kadosh Baruch Hu provides us in our life. And this is the behavioral aspect. That if we put it all together, we've got the thoughts, Aseret Dibros, we've got the feelings, the Kriya Shema, of loving a Kadosh Baruch Hu, and behaviorally repeating Kriya Shema every single day, and tefillin and mezuzah, we can see how this model really works to go together to creating a CBT religious existence, and a connection and a love and an appreciation for Kadosh Baruch Hu and the Torah and mitzvahs. And that's why we can say actually at the beginning of the parsha, when it says Va'ata, if we look at the psukim, when we are being presented with these chukim, with these laws and with these mitzvahs, the Torah says the word Va'ata, and now we should understand that these are the Torah, the laws and the mitzvahs that are being given to us. The word ata of now is somewhat superfluous, but if we understand from a CBT perspective as well, that from the CBT model understands that things need to be looked at in the here and now, not going back necessarily to introspection and really trying to understand and analyze past events. The Torah is saying now is the opportunity. You look at what the situation is that you are in the here and now. You try to connect with your thoughts and your emotions and the behaviors, and you put that all into a model which interacts and interrelates, and you see how that is functioning and
being expressed in your daily life, in the here and now. And through that, we will be able to bring about positive change and an adaptive change to the way that we exist and function in our Torah observance, our connection with halacha, mitzvahs, and our relationship with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Have a good Shabbos and keep well.